back to the ranch. Housewives, today I'm going to teach you about how to make a meal for your entire family with these simple ingredients.
You mean house people, right?
House people? What are you talking about?
Not just housewives.
What's wrong with housewives?
Because there's usually 2 working parents.
Oh my goodness. Okay, we'll be politically correct. Okay, if you're going to cook a meal for your family and you're of any of the gender, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you what this is and then how to use it. This is called a crock pot. Really simple. It's a slow cooker. It uses heat to cook things, okay? One of the most frustrating things about direct consumer sales to, people in their home is as we've grown into modern times, we've lost a lot of the old school cooking methods. So things like roasts and whole chickens and short ribs and things like that, if it's not smoked on a grill or cooked in a pot on the stove, you don't know how to cook it. So a roast is one of those things that is awesome in a crock pot. And it takes a roast that you can put in the oven and get dried out and not very good and make it a wonderful family meal. And like I said, that goes for things like whole chicken, short ribs, pork roasts, dips for chips, and all sorts of things. So the first thing that we're going to do is we've got our crock pot out, we've got it cleaned. This is a defrosted chuck roast. You can use this with any cut of roast. I mean, top round, bottom round, chuck roast, anything you can find is just fine. Typically our roasts are 2 to 3 pounds. This is a 3-pound chuck roast. It does have some bones in there. We're going to get that stuff to break down as well. And you could just cook the roast by itself. But what I'm going to do is, I like to add some potatoes, some carrots, and a little bit of sliced onion. I think it just, brings together a whole meal in a single pot, and you're not having to add things and dirty more dishes. So it's really awesome. First thing we're going to do, I've already washed the vegetables. We're going to go ahead and slice these vegetables, get them ready to go, and then once they're sliced, we're going to start putting stuff into the crock pot. So I'm going to get these vegetables sliced up. First thing, we're going to slice this onion and get all the skin and stuff peeled off of it. This is a beautiful Walla Walla sweet onion. Any onion will do. You can use a red onion, you can use a white onion. These Walla Walla sweet onions are pretty local to us in the area, and they are, just delicious. Okay, so I got my onion. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it in half. I'm gonna say half for later, so I'm not gonna use this half. We'll set it to the side. And then pretty simple, for this onion, we're just gonna slice the onion, flip it over, and slice the onion. Probably 1/4 inch size slices. Pretty healthy slices, because remember, it's gonna break down as we slow cook this in our pot. So, here we go, we got our onions sliced. Go ahead and set that to the side. And if you want to keep away from getting, the teary eyes when you slice an onion, just slice the onion out in front of you. If you get it up underneath yourself, it'll cause you to be teary-eyed. Next thing is potatoes. I'm going to slice one up so you show how I do it. Just like with the onion, we want the chunks pretty generous, so I like to cut it in quarters first. And then we can go ahead and, like I said, pretty generous pieces, because they're going to break down in that slow cooker over time. So one more time, like I said, quarter it, and then pretty generous chunks. So I'll get the rest of these potatoes sliced up. So we are feeding a family here, so you might as well use a lot. I'm going to grab another cutting board real quick. Okay, now we're moving on to slicing our carrots. Same thing. I like to go ahead and cut the ends off of all of them. And just get rid of those guys. And then pretty generous chunks, because they're going to break down in the cooker. Okay, missed a slice. old carrots. Okay, so we got our vegetables all sliced up. We got our carrots, we got our onions, we got our potatoes. And then I guess the only thing left is to start getting stuff in that crock pot. Okay, obviously this is a pretty simple task. I'm gonna go ahead and open up our pot. I'm gonna start with a couple handfuls of carrots in the bottom. Just kind of want to cover the bottom a little bit. A couple handfuls of potatoes. Kind of build a layer basically. Okay, and now I'm gonna cut open this beautiful chuck roast. Go ahead. Like I said, the best part about this is how simple it is. Pull it out of the bag. We're gonna find that paper. So if you get it boned in from your butcher, a lot of time they wrap it in this paper, and that's just to help protect it from, or protect the packaging, the vacuum pack packaging from getting damaged. So usually boned items will have this wrap on it. Oh, and this is a beautiful chuck roast. Look at that intermuscular fat. I mean, this is a really nice chuck roast. We got our bone here. Got some good fat in there. And literally, we're just gonna set that in there. Press that down a little bit. Go ahead, we're gonna add the rest of our vegetables. Just slide those guys in there. I may have got mine a little overfull. If you guys are looking for any of this stuff, cutting boards, knives, crock pots, there'll be links in the description. Make sure you guys check those out. So, we've got our vegetables, we got our meat, and it would probably cook just like that in there, and it'd probably be okay. But, the key to having a really awesome pot roast, cream and mushroom soup. Go ahead and open that guy. And that'll just break down. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of French onion soup too, just because I want a little more broth, and French onion is a good combination to add into this. And a little fresh cracked black pepper, because you can't go wrong. Put a link for that guy in the description. And, you know, because I'm this way, I'm a little garlic powder. Okay, so we have all our ingredients in our pot. It's pretty simple. We're gonna pop the lid on and move over here to the counter and get her plugged in. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and bring this bad guy over. Get her plugged in. Okay, so we have power. Select. I'm gonna go ahead and select low. Okay, so we've got her turned on. Now, typically for frozen meals, if you do this as a frozen roast, about 6 hours on low and you'll have yourself a completely cooked, tender roast of any kind. This one's defrosted, so it's only gonna take 2.5 hours, maybe. 2 to 2.5 hours typically is what you can get it done in. And you can turn the heat up for a little while to make sure you get it done in 2 hours. So right now it's 9:30. We're probably gonna eat this at 11:30 to noon, and it's just gonna be an awesome meal. So you can start in the morning with the defrosted one for lunch, or you can start it in the morning for a afternoon or evening meal with a frozen roast. So we're just gonna let that cook for 2.5 hours, and then we'll come back. Okay, it's been about 3 hours, and now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna see how our roast turned out. You ready, Blair? Okay, so it's pretty simple. All we're gonna do is undo our latches, let our steam out, I'm gonna take a couple of forks and kind of move some of this stuff around. And start, so I can tell our roast is not quite done. And we gotta put it back in there for some more time. So, I'm gonna go ahead and cover it back up and let it keep cooking. Okay everybody, it's several hours later. Blair and I are back. We're gonna go ahead and check our pot roast, show it to you guys. Okay, so this is pretty simple. We just go ahead, open our pot up, and we can see that everything is well broken down. We have a whole lot of juice. Go ahead and turn that to warm. Get in here, see if we can, oh, wow, there's the bone. So this pot roast now, it's been cooking several hours, it's just going to fall apart. So here we go, here's a big chunk of meat, and here's another bone. And see, we just pull that bone right out. And you can get in here, and you just twist, and this just falls apart. This is all that fat rendered into a wonderful gravy. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and dish this up and give her a test. Now that's one hearty meal. Now be really careful, because when you first pull it out, it is steaming hot. Right, Mrs. Nelson? Mm-hmm. How's it taste? Mm-hmm. So now you have a meal that not only feeds your family tonight, but it'll feed your family for the next few days. Anyway guys, thanks for stopping in. Thanks for watching. You know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment. Check out the links in the description to support American Beef Ranch. And we will see you next time on the next video.